We laughed, joked, drank wine, and then she told me to look under the bed. Please read this to the end, because if I told you what really happened up front, you'd never believe me. It started with a glass of wine, a laugh I hadn't heard in years, and a single question that shattered everything I thought I forgave. I still don't know if it was the second bottle of Merlot or the years we hadn't talked that made me forget who I was dealing with. Carly, 31 female, my ex-best friend, my former person, the girl who once held my hair back while I cried over my mom's funeral casket, and then, a year later, kissed my boyfriend the night I introduced them. That Carly. And me, Natalie, 32 female, cautious, calculated, mostly healed, I thought. We hadn't spoken in 7 years, not since I blocked her number, deleted every photo, and left her standing in the rain outside my apartment screaming apologies too slurred to believe. I swore I'd never let her near me again. But then she emailed me. Of all things, an email. It just said, "I saw your brother. He told me what happened. Please let me say something. Just one night. Please." What she meant was, "I know your brother died. I know your pain cracked you open again. I know this is my way back in." And I let her in, because grief makes you stupid. It makes ghosts look like comfort. And Carly always had that addicting kind of presence. Chaotic, magnetic, exhausting, like someone who'd scream at you for stealing her eyeliner but then bail you out of jail without asking questions. So I said yes. She came over with wine and her same laugh that made strangers turn their heads. Her hair was shorter, her eyes tired, but the charm was there, like nothing had changed, like I hadn't spent 7 years building walls just to keep her memory out. We sat on my couch, legs folded like teenagers, drank too much, laughed too loud. She cried when she brought up Josh, my brother. They used to be close too, before everything. "I've missed this," she said, eyes glassy. "Missed you." And for a minute, I let myself miss her too, until she said it, softly, casually, like she was offering me gum. "Hey, can you look under the bed?" It didn't register at first. I laughed, sloshing wine over the rim of my glass. "What?" I asked. "Why?" "Just do it," she said, eyes locked on mine. "Please, I left something for you." There was this silence after, like all the air got sucked out of the room. Her voice had shifted. No more playfulness, no teasing grin, just something cold. My stomach twisted. But I set the wine down and knelt anyway, heart thudding in my ears. And then I saw it. A shoebox. Old, dusty, taped shut. I pulled it out slowly, hands shaking. Carly didn't say a word, just watched me like I was disarming a bomb she built. I tore the tape, opened it. Inside were photos, dozens of them. Me, Josh, our parents, stuff from high school I didn't even remember existing. And then deeper down, new ones I'd never seen. Josh, last year, at the diner by my work, at the park near my building, and Carly, in the background of everyone, watching him. My hands went numb. "You were following him," I whispered. Carly didn't flinch, just reached for the wine and said, "He never told you what he did he?" My blood went cold. She smiled. "You should have asked what he was hiding before he died." I couldn't breathe. The air felt heavy, like I was underwater, like her words had filled the room with smoke and I was the only one choking on it. "He never told you what he did?" Carly said it like it was nothing, like we were still talking about exes or college memories. "Not my dead brother, Josh, Yermi Sekis male, my best friend, my protector, the only person who stayed when everyone else turned into a goodbye. He died 6 months ago. Car accident, that's what they said. That's what the coroner's report said." But Carly was looking at me now like she knew something else, like that box wasn't just a relic, it was a weapon. "What the hell are you talking about?" I asked, but my voice came out small, fragile. She didn't answer right away, just sipped her wine like we weren't spiraling into some psychological thriller. Then she leaned back, arms draped lazily over the couch and said, "You know I was with him that night, right?" The words hit like a punch to the ribs. "You... what?" She nodded. "It wasn't just some freak accident, Nat. He was meeting me. We'd been talking for a while. Catching up." "No," I said, backing away. "That's not possible. He would have told me." "Would he?" she asked. "Would he really?" And that's when it started unraveling. Carly, years after our fallout, had somehow wormed her way back into my brother's life. Quietly, secretly. She showed me the texts, screenshots saved on her phone. Some of them dated just weeks before his death. "Can't tell, Nat, yet. She still hates you. Soon. Just one thing left to fix first." "What was he trying to fix?" I asked, voice trembling. Carly just smiled. "I think you already know." And that's when she reached into her purse and pulled out something wrapped in a napkin, carefully, reverently. My stomach dropped. It was Josh's silver necklace, the one he never took off, the one they never found in the wreck. "He gave this to me that night," she whispered, "right before it happened." "No," I said. "No, this is sick." But something inside me cracked then, because I remembered. I remembered Josh showing up at my place 2 days before he died, panicked and off, like he was carrying something too heavy for words. I remembered asking him what was wrong and him brushing it off with a laugh that didn't reach his eyes. "You don't have to carry everything alone, you know," I told him. "I'm not," he said. "I'm trying to make something right." And then he hugged me like it was goodbye. Carly's eyes met mine, full of something twisted and sad. "You thought I came to make peace," she said, "but I came to finish what he started." I was frozen. Then she stood up, wine glass still in hand, and whispered, "You really should read what's in the bottom of the box." My hands moved before my brain did. Under the photos, taped to the inside flap, was a letter, Josh's handwriting, 3 pages long. My fingers shook as I unfolded it, and that's when my knees buckled, because the letter didn't just explain what happened, it confessed to everything. The words swam in front of me, ink blurring through tears I wasn't even aware of until they splattered onto the page. "Nat, if you're reading this, it means I didn't fix it in time. I'm sorry. I tried. God, I tried." The first line shattered me. I dropped to my knees on the hardwood floor, the letter spread across my thighs like a bomb about to detonate. Carly stood in the corner, silent now, watching, almost reverent, like she'd already read the letter 1,000 times, like she'd been waiting for me to catch up to a truth she'd sat with too long. "I lied to you, for years, about everything, about Carly, about that night in college, about what I did." My breath hitched. He was talking about the night Carly and I stopped being friends. The night I found her in tears outside our apartment, claiming Josh had tried to force himself on her after a party. She never pressed charges, never told anyone else, but she told me, and I believed her. Of course I did. I kicked Josh out of my life that night, screamed at him, spit in his face, told him he was dead to me. But a month later, Carly changed her story, said it was a misunderstanding, that she was drunk, that maybe it wasn't how she remembered. By then, Josh had already stopped talking to both of us. I never got the full truth. I never wanted it. I just wanted to forget. Until now. She lied, Nat. She lied because I knew something about her. Something she didn't want getting out. I told her I was going to tell you. And she panicked. The room spun. It wasn't about me kissing her. She kissed me. And then she told me what she did. The letter veered sharply. My eyes tripped over the next lines. "The missing money from your college fund. The pills in your locker. You thought it was that guy in your dorm. But it wasn't. It was her." I stopped breathing. In our sophomore year, I got put on academic probation after campus security found Oxy hidden in my backpack. I swore I'd never touched the stuff. They didn't believe me. I almost lost my scholarship. At the time, I blamed a roommate, but it never made sense. And now Josh was telling me Carly did it. She was dealing. She needed a clean record to pin it on. And she used you. I confronted her. She freaked. That night, she made up the story about me. I thought if I left it alone, it would blow over. But it didn't. You both cut me out. And I let it happen. I couldn't feel my body anymore. Last year, she reached out, said she wanted to make peace, said she missed you, but she still had the photos, the ones from that night, the ones she took of the pills in your drawer before she planted them. I didn't even know they existed. I flipped through the box again. There they were, Polaroids. Me, my desk, my bag, unzipped. She documented the setup, and Josh found them. I told her to give them to me or I'd go to the cops. She told me to meet her. I went. That's the night I died. And I don't know if it was an accident anymore. I looked up. Carly's wine glass was empty now, her eyes glassy. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was ice. "You really believed I'd let him ruin me?" My throat closed. "You killed him," I said, but it came out more like a whisper. She tilted her head. "No," she said, "but I watched." I don't know how long I sat there, the letter clutched in one hand, those photos scattered around me like cursed tarot cards, and Carly just standing over me like some twisted shadow that had finally stepped back into the light. She watched me unravel and didn't flinch. "You watched him die?" I asked, my voice barely audible. She smirked. "He got into that car furious. He was shaking, said he was going to the police anyway. He wasn't thinking straight. I didn't touch him, Nat, but I didn't stop him either." I stood, fast, too fast. My knees nearly buckled, but adrenaline surged through me like fire. "You could have called for help. You could have stopped him from getting behind the wheel." She shrugged. "And what? Let him destroy my life again? Let him take you away from me? Again?" That's when it clicked. This wasn't about Josh. This wasn't even about the past. This was about me. She hadn't come to confess. She hadn't come to make peace. She came to remind me that she could still pull the strings, still decide when and how my world collapsed. "You're sick," I said, stepping back. "I'm loyal," she said softly. "You were my world, Nat, and he took that from me. So I took everything from him." She stepped closer. I backed up until my spine hit the wall. Her wine-stained breath was in my face now. "You don't have to pretend to hate me," she whispered. "Not anymore. I'm the only one who really knows you. Remember?" And then she reached out, like she was going to touch my face. I shoved her. Hard. She stumbled back and knocked into the coffee table, sending the wine glass crashing to the floor. It shattered into jagged, blood-colored shards. She looked down at it, then back at me, eyes wide like I'd slapped her. "You're not the victim," I said, voice trembling with rage. "You're a parasite, and you used my brother's death as a goddamn invitation. You think I'm the bad guy?" she hissed, now shaking. "You want to know what he said before he drove off? She'll never believe me anyway. You chose me once, Natalie. And I was right. You always come back." Something in her snapped then. She lunged, not to hit me, but to grab the photos. The letter. I grabbed them first. We struggled, screaming, pulling, until I did something I never imagined I would. I slapped her. Not hard, but enough. She froze. The room went dead silent. Her cheek burned red. Her eyes filled, not with pain but venom. "You'll regret that," she said, her voice suddenly calm, too calm. Then she walked out. No yelling, no door slam, just silence. And I stood there, broken glass at my feet, secrets in my hand, and a pit of dread blooming in my chest. Because if I knew Carly, that wasn't the end. That was her opening move. Update. I didn't even have time to process what happened the night before. I barely slept. I spent most of the night rereading Josh's letter over and over, trying to make sense of it all, wondering how deep the lies really went. I kept expecting to wake up and find the shoebox gone, the wine stains wiped clean like I'd hallucinated the whole thing. But at 9:13 a.m. the next morning, there was a knock on my door, and when I opened it, there she was. Carly, in full performance mode, crying, smeared mascara, trembling hands, the whole damn show. Beside her, her mother, Janice, who always looked like she was about to host a book club for people who collect grudges. And behind both of them, a local officer with a clipboard and a face that already looked exhausted. "Miss Fields," he said, shifting his weight like he'd rather be anywhere else, "I need to speak with you about an incident reported by Ms. Hamilton." I stared at Carly. She wouldn't meet my eyes. "She said you assaulted her," he continued. "She has a bruise on her face. She's alleging you struck her and made verbal threats." And there it was. She hit herself. I swear to God I watched the gears turning in real time. She walked into my house, tried to ruin my life with a shoebox full of death, and when I finally fought back, she turned it into her next power move. Janice crossed her arms. "We're not here to cause trouble, but Carly deserves to feel safe." I laughed. Out loud. Couldn't help it. Safe? She'd practically haunted my family for a decade. "She broke into my life," I said to the officer, my voice shaking. "She's manipulating you. There's proof. I have photos, letters, texts. She says those were fabricated." He interrupted gently. "Look, no one's under arrest. This is a courtesy visit for now. But if it escalates..." He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. They left after 15 minutes of polite threats. And Carly? She winked at me. Actually winked. Like we were in on some secret joke. Like I hadn't just watched her weaponize the goddamn law against me. And read it. Some of y'all in the comments were right. I should have burned the bridge years ago. I should have cut her off deeper, sharper. But last night, that wasn't closure. That was bait. And now? Now it's my turn. Some of you said revenge should be personal. Poetic. I hear you. So I'm not going to post the photos online. I'm going to deliver them. One by one. To the people she actually cares about. The head of the charity where she volunteers on weekends. She might be interested to see the time-stamped shots of Carly dealing pills on campus. Her mom's church group. Wait until they see the screenshots of Carly bragging about how easy it was to fake a bruise with bronzer and pressure. Her new boyfriend? The one who finally makes her feel seen? I've got a flash drive labeled just for him. The same one Josh used to back up his messages. Carly tried to weaponize the past. She forgot who wrote it. The first delivery was a manila envelope slipped under a church door. Carly always played the redemption card at Janice's church, said she'd turned her life around, gave speeches about forgiveness and choosing light. She once told a crowd that God gave her pain so she could help others heal. So I gave them a different sermon. Inside the envelope were printouts of the photos Josh had saved, the ones that proved Carly had planted the pills in my dorm room, framed me, and ruined my scholarship. There were also screenshots from her old texts with Josh. One of them read, "Don't worry. No one believes Natalie when she cries. I'll just say I was scared." I included a post-it note on top. "Here's who you've been praying with. Merry Sunday." The second drop was to the executive director of the women's charity Carly used for photo ops. She'd been listed as a youth mentor for years, probably coached dozens of scared young girls about overcoming betrayal, while simultaneously betraying the hell out of everyone who ever trusted her. That envelope had something special, a copy of the college disciplinary report where Carly denied under oath that she ever knew about the drugs, the same ones she photographed and planted. Oh, and the video. Josh, 2 months before he died, sitting in his car. "If anything happens to me, tell Natalie the truth. Tell her I was trying to fix what I broke. I was scared, but I'm done being scared." His voice cracked in the middle. My hands did too. The third delivery? That was personal. To her boyfriend, Matt. I didn't know much about him, but Carly had posted enough couple selfies with captions like, "Finally found someone who sees me," and "Safe, not sorry." So I found him, at the gym, walked right up, looked him in the eyes, handed him a flash drive and said, "Ask her about Josh, and about the pills. Ask her about the shoebox." Then I left. No dramatics, no yelling. Let the truth do the damage. By Tuesday, Carly's Instagram was gone. Deactivated. Every post wiped. By Thursday, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "You think this ends with you winning? You think they'll still love you once I tell them what you did?" No name, but I knew who it was. Carly doesn't go down quietly. She detonates as she falls. And yet, I smiled, because she underestimated something. Yes, I had skeletons too. Things I'd hidden. Things I wasn't proud of. But unlike her, I wasn't afraid of the truth. I welcomed it. So I texted back, "Go ahead. Look under my bed. Let's see who screams louder." The scream came at 2:17 a.m. My phone lit up. I didn't answer. A minute later. Again and again. 6 missed calls. Then a voice message, breathless and unhinged. "You evil, manipulative little bitch. Do you know what you've done? My mom disowned me. Matt left. The foundation's suspending me. And I know you still have more. I swear to God, Natalie, if you come near me again." I stopped the message there. I'd heard enough. I was calm. Almost too calm. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't the one losing sleep. I wasn't the one unraveling. Carly was the one suffocating now. She tried to smear me after that. Posted a burner blog claiming I'd forged the documents, edited the photos, manipulated Josh when he was vulnerable. Classic gaslight garbage dressed up in fake vulnerability and hashtags about truth seekers. It lasted 48 hours. Then someone else stepped in. Janice, her mother. Apparently the same day Carly's blog went live, Janice held a tearful meeting with the church board, told them about the real Carly, about the bruises that didn't match the stories, about the pills, the lies, the silence she kept to protect her daughter, and how it turned into protecting a monster. It broke Janice, but it saved me. That night, I got an email, just a subject line. "I believe you now." No body text. Didn't need it. By the end of the week, Carly was a ghost. She vanished from socials. Her volunteer bio disappeared. Mutual friends stopped mentioning her name. It was like the world finally saw the rot I'd been screaming about for years. And yet, the night after Janice emailed me, I had a nightmare. I was in my childhood bedroom. Josh was at the window, knocking, quietly, repeatedly, but I couldn't open it. I couldn't move. And when I finally did, he was gone. When I woke up, I cried so hard I almost threw up. Because I hadn't done this for me. Not really. I'd done it for him, and he was still gone. But there was one thing left. The final envelope, the one I hadn't mailed yet, addressed to the dean of students at our old college. It contained the original disciplinary report, the confession, the photos, everything. It would clear my record, erase the academic probation that followed me into job interviews for years. I'd sealed it weeks ago, but I couldn't bring myself to send it, because part of me wanted to let it rot, like Carly tried to let Josh rot. But another part wanted every last one of her ghosts exorcised, so I lit a match and burned it. Let the past burn with her. Update 2. I debated even posting this because honestly, I wanted to be done. I thought I'd buried her in truth and silence. But Carly is the kind of chaos that doesn't die quietly. She just changes shape. So buckle up. It's been almost 3 weeks since the fallout. My phone stopped buzzing. My inbox cleared. People who once ghosted me now sent weird apology texts like, "I always knew something was off about her," as if that somehow erased their silence when I needed them most. I'd started to breathe again. Until last Tuesday. I'm a design lead at a marketing firm downtown. Glass walls, too many meetings, stale coffee, standard corporate soul suck. I was prepping for a client pitch, full business casual armor on, when I saw her reflection in the glass, Carly, standing in the lobby, wearing a beige trench coat and a smile like she owned the building. I froze. She didn't. She walked right up to the receptionist and asked to speak with Natalie Fields, loud enough for the team across the hall to hear. Loud enough that my coworker Sasha popped her head in like, Nat? There's someone out here?" I stepped into the hallway and locked eyes with her. She didn't look unhinged. She looked composed, eerily calm. "I just need 5 minutes," she said. "No," I replied, already pulling out my phone. "You're trespassing. I need you to listen," she said louder this time, voice cracking just enough for the room to notice. "I'm not the only one with secrets, Natalie. You want to tell them about what happened in Santa Cruz, about the lake house?" And just like that, she made me the crazy one, because now people were staring. Whispers. Raised eyebrows. My boss peeked out of his office like a meerkat during a thunderstorm. Security came fast. Thank God, they escorted her out as she screamed, "This isn't over," and maybe it wasn't. But here's the thing, Reddit. That lake house? Yeah, There was something that happened there, and maybe I wasn't the only one she hurt. Maybe Carly came back for revenge, but maybe she came back because I'm the last one who knows what she did to someone else. Someone who never got to write their letter. Santa Cruz was never supposed to be mentioned again. It was a trip, that's what we told people. A last-minute girls' getaway before senior year. Just me, Carly, and Bria. Three 21-year-olds, a half-tanked rental house by the coast, and enough boxed wine to drown our regrets before they grew teeth. But something happened that weekend. Something Carly swore we'd bury under sand and silence, and Bria never came back. Not in the literal sense. She's still alive somewhere, I think. But after that trip, she dropped out, deleted every account, changed her number, moved back in with her grandmother upstate, according to a classmate. And she never spoke to either of us again. I hadn't heard Bria's name in years until Carly hissed it in my office hallway like a knife slipping under my ribs. You want to tell them what happened in Santa Cruz? Here's the truth. Bria had a secret, one she was too scared to say out loud. She was sleeping with one of our professors. Marston, married, tenure, the kind of creep who talked about emotional intellect while staring at your collarbone. Carly knew. She always knew things before she was told. And that weekend in Santa Cruz, she brought it up. We were drunk, sitting on the deck, waves pounding the cliffs below. Carly leaned over and said, "So, when were you going to tell us you're screwing Marston?" Bria froze. I remember how she looked, pale, like her bones had iced over. And then she said something I'll never forget. "You can't tell anyone, please." He said if it gets out, he'll ruin me. Carly tilted her head. "You think I care what he said?" She laughed, pulled out her phone. Bria lunged for it. They fought. Wine bottles crashed. Screams. Bria locked herself in the bathroom crying for hours. Wouldn't come out even when we knocked. The next morning, Carly acted like nothing happened. Bria left before sunrise. Bags packed, left her necklace on the nightstand. Carly watched her go and just said, "Well, that was dramatic. I never told anyone. I told myself it wasn't my place. That Bria would speak when she was ready. But Carly?" She told Marston's wife, anonymously. She sent an email with photos, screenshots from Bria's phone she'd somehow grabbed during the trip. She torched Bria's life and called it justice. And when I found out, when Bria called me sobbing, saying she'd lost her scholarship, her internship, everything, Carly smiled and said, "She deserved better than a coward. I helped her. I should have walked away then. I should have told someone. But I didn't, because Carly knew things about me too, and I was scared. But now, I'm not scared anymore. Because I found Bria. Last week, after Carly showed up at my work, I found her. I sent her a message. Didn't expect an answer, but I got one. You're not the only one she ruined. I'll talk." And read it. Bria's story makes mine look like a warm-up act. Bria showed up at my door last night. She was thinner than I remembered. Shorter, too. Her hair was cropped close now, her smile nervous. Like someone stepping back into a war zone they barely escaped. We didn't hug. We didn't need to. We just sat on my couch, tea going cold between us, as she laid out the full, brutal truth. Carly didn't just expose Bria's affair with Marston. She blackmailed her. "Tell Natalie you're cutting her off," Carly had texted her, "or I send the screenshots to the dean and his wife." Bria was terrified. 21. Alone. Dependent on that scholarship to survive. She begged Carly not to do it. Carly sent the email anyway, from Bria's own account. And when Bria confronted her, Carly laughed. Told her she was just cleaning house. And now, it was our turn. Bria still had the burner phone. The one Carly used to send anonymous messages back then. Guess what? She never wiped it. Guess what else? Bria's cousin works in digital forensics. We had proof. Names. Dates. Metadata. Everything. So we wrote a letter. Not to the cops. Not to Carly's new job or her church board or her boyfriend's parents. We wrote it to every single person Carly had used as a shield. A curated audience. College advisors. Former bosses. The dean she charmed after Bria vanished. The podcast she guest starred on about resilience. Even the school board where she'd just applied to be a counselor. We didn't accuse. We exposed. Attached every file, every audio clip, every receipt. And then, we signed it with a single line. "We're not scared of you anymore." We sent it at 4 a.m. Bria pressed the button. By 6:15 a.m., my phone was blowing up. Screenshots of her social media going dark again. Messages from people who said things like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't know." By 8 a.m., Carly herself emailed me. One sentence. "You ruined me." And I smiled. Not out of joy, but relief. Because for once, the truth was louder than her. The truth cut deeper than her lies. And maybe it didn't bring Josh back. And maybe it didn't erase what she did to Bria. But it ended something. Ended her reign. Ended her myth. Ended the hold she had over people who were just trying to breathe. The final image in my mind? Her. Sitting in whatever apartment she hasn't been evicted from yet. Reading that letter. Watching her world fold in on itself, one page at a time. Because she told me to look under the bed. But she forgot. I've seen what monsters really look like, and now I sleep just fine.